And thanks for joining us for ABC24 This Week. I'm ABC24 content manager Brad Broders, filling in this week for Richard Ransom. Along with airing at 9 a.m. every Sunday morning, we also bring you an encore at 11 every Sunday night. This week, yet again, a very news-filled time in politics, from the state capitol to right here in Memphis. Let's dive into the topics. First, the week that was in Nashville, a budget passed that's good news for Memphis sports fans. While some governors passed, others didn't, and one lawmaker who stepped down but never faced expulsion. We'll take a deep dive. Plus, a topsy-turvy week for Memphis Shelby County Schools in its search for a new superintendent. School board members and community advocates upset. Can a leading top educator still emerge? We'll discuss. And we'll tackle a busy week in the city of Memphis as the mayoral residency rule takes a new twist and Memphis police and community leaders sort out a juvenile crime enforcement plan now on hold. And let me introduce you to our panel. I'm joined by ABC24 political analyst Otis Sanford to my far right, and in the center here, Reverend Kenneth Whalum, who is also a former Memphis City School Board member. Gentlemen, we begin tonight in Nashville, where the General Assembly wrapped up its session, including legislation involving guns. Here's a recap. The Senate and House passed a bill that protects gun manufacturers from civil liability. This means the seller, dealer, or manufacturer of a gun used in a crime, such as a mass shooting, can't be sued. That's unless the seller is directly involved in the crime or there's a negligence action brought against the seller. Also, the Senate passed a bill that would introduce a voucher program to offset the cost of someone taking a handgun safety course for the first time. And already signed by Governor Bill Lee, retired law enforcement with 20 years of service can now carry a handgun on property owned by a public college or university if they are employed on a part-time basis. That goes into effect July 1st. Now, there are several bills that failed in this session, either withdrawn, failed in committees, or deferred to the next session. Some are classified as extreme risk protection laws, but lawmakers filed those late and they weren't approved by the delayed bills committee, or they simply didn't make it through. A bill that would allow school teachers to carry a gun failed. Another bill would have allowed college students to carry a gun on campus. That also failed in a Senate committee. And a bill to lower the minimum age required to carry a handgun in public also failed and won't be taken up until next year. A bill meant to prevent gun thefts from cars and require gun owners to report thefts within 24 hours also failed. It was deferred in the Senate committee until 2024 and never moved to a House committee. Well, Otis, we'll start with you. We're taking a deeper dive of these gun bills. How do you make kind of what passed, what didn't pass this session?
Well, Brad and Ken, to me, this is just the same old with this legislature. They are more protective of the gun lobby and people who manufacture guns than they are to the citizens. That's clear. They've already told people who are protesting the Covenant school shooting to just go away and leave us alone. So to pass a bill that says you can't sue the gun manufacturers tells me where they are on this. And there are so many other issues up there with the legislature that is just pro-gun and not willing to do anything to help the citizens. I found it very interesting that they said that it was too late in the session to even deal with the extreme protection law, or red flag law is really what it is. They said it was too late in the session. But 2 years ago, at the very last of the session, they managed to pass a bill outlawing so-called critical race theory at the very last day, without any discussion, without any understanding. They just passed it. So don't tell me that we didn't have enough time. They just didn't want to do it. I'm hoping now that there may be a special session somewhere sooner rather than later to maybe deal with this, but this legislature is not interested in anything related to red flag laws.
Well, Otis and I both predicted that the red flag law that Governor Lee proposed was not going to get any support once it got to the House floor.
Right.
And it also lets you know how the legislature, especially in Tennessee, operates, but across politics nationally, this is how it operates. At the very height of this brouhaha, this debate about the gun laws, the NRA was hosting a fundraising event in Nashville on Capitol Hill. For some reason, the Republicans send me their emails. I don't know how my email address got on their list, but anyway, so I know the kinds of things that they're trying to do, and it's unfortunate, but it just is what it is. When Governor Lee proposed it, I think he knew that it wasn't going to get support.
And the special session, it remains to be seen. I know some of the Tennessee Three want that, but
Yeah.
it remains to be seen if we'll have that.
Oh, I think it does. It's really up to the governor. And I think Ken is right. I mean, I think he knew that his suggestion about a red flag law is not going to go anywhere. He did come up with some more background check efforts with an executive order. He only did that because this latest mass shooting hit pretty close to home to him. And it finally forced him to have to do or say something. I'm sure a lot of people got to him on that. Plus how the legislature looked in kicking out the Tennessee Three and basically ignoring the protesters. That didn't look good nationally either. But no, I don't have any hope that there will be a special legislative session.
And I predicted this a few weeks ago. Those protesters and demonstrators have not gone away. There's been a lot of more demonstrations in the past week. They're not going quietly into the night. So.
Right.
Well, the thing that really tickles me, I guess if that's the word I can use, is the most recent example of the legislator who stepped down for, prurient behavior, I think is how lawyers will refer to it.
Prurient?
Yeah.
Oh, I like
and I think the other leaders will just act as if it never happened, just keep on pressing forward. I think locally, as I've said before, local activists, especially young, educated activists, are going to have to take a long view and not try to be short-sighted, but just have a plan and press forward with the plan to try to get the message to the leaders in Nashville.